Hello and welcome to Gunzal Talk. If you do go on to enjoy this podcast, this show, please make sure to like this video, subscribe for weekly episodes of this podcast, and also make sure to check out my link tree, which is also linked in the description. I hope you enjoy the podcast, and yeah, thank you for watching. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Gunzal Talk. It is a little bit of a different episode of Gunzal Talk, as it will be a recording from a Q&A session that I had last week, on the 29th of October. It will be a recording from that. So, yeah, I held this Q&A on my Discord server, which you can join in with the link in the description, if you are interested. And I recorded it, and I'll be using it for this episode of Gunzal Talk. So I hope you enjoy this sort of different episode of Gunzal Talk. But yeah, as the Q&A goes along, you might get a better idea of how it actually works. So yeah, I hope you enjoy, and thanks for listening. Hello and welcome to the City Gunzals Q&A session on the 29th of October 2021. I will be answering some of your questions that you have put in the thread. If you want to continue putting in some questions into the thread, so I can answer them throughout the session, feel free to do so. I will start answering some of your questions now. So, first question of the Q&A session is, what is my favourite steam train? My favourite steam locomotive is A2986, because I don't actually know why, I just like it for some reason. There's just something about it that I like, and I'm not exactly sure what that is for some reason. But yeah, my favourite steam train is A2986. I really like it, and I hope I can go on a tour with it sometime in the near future, and hopefully film that tour for YouTube as well. The next question is thoughts on the L-class electric locomotives. I don't really know much about the L-class electric locomotives, but they're cool. I hope that Steamrail use them for the Electrail thing. It's the same thing that they're using Tates for. Yeah, so I hope that Steamrail use L-classes as part of the Electrail division, and also just for general tours and stuff as well. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the electric locomotives. Just as a reminder, on Wednesday this will be going live on YouTube. This will be going live as Season 1, Episode 4 of Gunzal Talk on YouTube. That will be on Wednesday at the usual time. Best places to film in Melbourne. North Melbourne flyover is definitely a place I would recommend. There's lots of good places. North Melbourne flyover is definitely a place that I would recommend. So, yeah, that's definitely a place I would recommend, the North Melbourne flyover. If you're looking for a good place to film some trains, then the North Melbourne flyover is definitely somewhere I would recommend. In terms of other places, I can't really think of anything. Maybe, you might remember last year I did a vlog at, Dion Rail Link. It's that bridge near Burwood train station. That's also a pretty good spot, so, that's another good thing. But I think those are the two main places that I would recommend. What's the next question? H. 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 Anyway, with that out of the way, my favourite tourist railway. I don't really have a favourite tourist railway. I mean, there's like Puffing Billy, and then there's Victorian Goldfields Railway. I have a lot of favourites, but yeah, probably Victorian Goldfields Railway probably would be my favourite, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. That's probably what I would say for that. But yeah, I don't really have a favourite. I think that they're all good. There's also ones like the Yarra Valley Railway as well, which is good as well. So yeah, Yarra Valley Railway is definitely a good one. Thoughts on the X-Trap 100s and the X-Trap 2.0s. As somebody who lives on the Burnley group and has to deal with like X-Straplesses like every day, my nearest station is on the Burnley group. So yeah, that's definitely, yeah, I definitely don't like them because I have to put up with them every day. I don't know if that adds to it at all, but yeah. In terms of the new designs for the X-Strapless 2.0s, basically, as long as it's not as bouncy as the current X-Strapless trains, then I'm probably pretty much fine with it. And I hope that they'll have comfortable seating and stuff. Has PT Media asked what are the best and worst stations in Melbourne, in my opinion. In terms of the best station, Southern Cross is definitely a contender. Simply because it's big, it's the main hub for like all trains in Melbourne and Victoria, and it's just a really cool station in general. So definitely Southern Cross is a contender, and an unlikely favourite of mine is also Macaulay. Because Macaulay is just like, it's not, the station itself is not that good, no, but the location that's in is unique, and it's really cool. I really like the fact that it's like under a freeway. For some reason that just really appeals to me. In terms of the worst station in Melbourne, the worst station in Melbourne, in my opinion, would definitely have to be South Kensington. But in the channel here on Discord for our Melbourne's Best Railway Station Awards, we did have a bit of a debate about the worst railway stations as well. So South Kensington, Hes PT again also stated Aircraft, South Kensington and Officer, but I would probably have to say South Kensington is definitely the worst station in Melbourne, at least in my opinion. You are allowed to have your own opinion too. My favourite and least favourite train and tram. I don't really have an opinion on trams, but like, yeah. Hang on, I'm just gonna go on a bit of an intermission, so just hold on a second. I'll be right back. Apologies for that intermission. I will get back to answering some questions now. So let's see. So where was I? My favourite and least favourite tram. As I was saying, I don't really have an opinion on trams. I don't really know which one I would pick. yeah, so I'm going to skip that. In terms of trains, my least favourite train, on the metro network at least, my least favourite train would have to be the Extrapolis 100, for obvious reasons. So that's my least favourite. My favourite train on the Melbourne Metro network would definitely have to be the Siemens Nexus. Simply because it's nice and I just like it. It's a very modern design. And what's funny is that it came in at around the same time as the Extrapolis 100, and for some reason I rate them the opposite on the spectrum. But in terms of V-Line, I would probably have to say, I don't know. I actually don't know for V-Line, so I'm actually going to skip that. Opinion on Metro Trains Melbourne as an operator. So, they're good. They're really the only operator that I've lived to see, or even really ride on, I guess. So, I can't really give good opinion on that, or a non-biased opinion, I guess. But yeah, they're good, I guess. So yeah. So I guess metro trains are good, and my top 5 train, tram, bus operators worldwide. I'm just going to do some of my favourite train operators then. Well, I think Transpennine Express in the UK are pretty good. I really like their 397s, the Class 397 Nova 2 trains, which I will get back to in just a second. I will get back to the Nova 2 train in just a second. So yeah, Transpennine's definitely good, and that's probably all I can give at the moment. So, yeah, I don't know if I can give any more detail apart from Transpennine. That's pretty much the only one I can list at the moment. Do I prefer the EDI Comenge or the Alstom Comenge? I don't really have much of an opinion on, like, the actual train itself, so I'm just going to answer this question purely off how they look. And going off how they look, I would definitely say that the EDI Comenge definitely wins. I'm just going to delete the Q&A discussion thread because nobody's using that, lol. Yeah, so EDI Comenge, just purely based off looks, they just look really cool. And yeah, I wish that they would come back onto the Alamein line. Just Comenges come back on the Alamein line. What is my favourite train in the world? I would have to say that would have to be I would have to say that my favourite train in the world, once again we're going back to the UK with the Transpennine Express Class 397 Nova 2 trains. I haven't ridden on one, unfortunately. I hope that if I ever go to the UK, I hope that I'll get to ride on it. But it just looks really cool. It just looks like really cool. And yeah, it's just really cool. That's all I have to say about it. When was the last time that I saw a Comenge on the Alamein line? I think it was like 2015? I think 2015, yeah. Because I remember, because at Ashburton, as you might know, there is that siding just after the station, and I remember, even though it was retired before 2015, train stopped using it before 2015, I really remember there was a Comenge in that siding just there, and I remember it rolling into the station. but I don't. That's all I remember. But I think that was the last time I saw a comment on the Alamein line. And the last question for this Q&A, unless someone else chimes in with another question, was my favourite heritage railway operator in Victoria. I did answer this just before, and the answer is I don't really have a favourite, but well, yeah, I don't really have a favourite, but I do like, there's ones like the Victorian Goldfields Railway. The Victorian Goldfields Railway is good. Puffing Billy is obviously a very good one. Yeah, and there's Bellarine. Yeah, Mornington. Yeah, I just saw that in the chat. Mornington is definitely a good one too. Yeah, there's lots of good ones, and I would like to go to all of them. Was my favourite BG Oh, you volunteer at Mornington Railway. That's cool. That's definitely cool. I will hopefully volunteer at railway one day too, hopefully. Yeah. So, yeah, what's the next one? Was my favourite Victorian BG loco? Okay, I don't know, actually. Sorry, I just need to go on another intermission again. Okay, sorry about that again. It's just that when you're filming things live like this, these sorts of things tend to happen. But anyway, what's my favourite BG locomotive? I don't really have a favourite BG locomotive. Yeah, I don't really actually have one, but I guess if I would have to pick, I guess, does the G-Class count? Does the G-Class count as a BG locomotive? I'm pretty sure it does. If it does, then yeah, G-Class is definitely my favourite locomotive, because I don't know, I just really like the look of them for some reason. But yeah, the G locomotive is definitely, if it counts, then the G locomotive is my favourite BG locomotive on the thing. The next question I will come back, because I think that would be a good question to finish the Q&A on. But was my favourite line on the Metro network? My favourite line on the Metro network, probably the Alamein line, simply because of its heritage and the whole thing of it being part of the Outer Circle line. Yeah, I think that the Alamein line is really cool. And while I'm answering this last question, if any of you want to put in any last questions before I finish off the Q&A, then now is a good chance. But are you excited that more restrictions are easing? Of course I am. If anyone isn't excited, then I don't know. But yeah, obviously I'm definitely excited. I can see that Ant is typing in the chat right now, so I answered that question. I'm just going to wait for this question, but I think whatever this question is here that Ant is typing up right now will be our last question. Okay, Archive Fred, will you ever make history videos about some train lines, at some train lines about the train line? That is definitely something that I want to do. It's definitely something that I think would be a cool idea. Instead of just regular train spotting videos talking about the history of the line and all that, that would definitely be a type of video that I would definitely be interested in filming. But yeah, So that will definitely be something that I would want to make. That would definitely be yeah, it would definitely be a good it would definitely be a good video idea for all lines. Possibly like Jeff Marshall style secrets of insert line. Yeah, that would be definitely something cool to do. But I think that is where we will end off the Q&A today. So thank you to everyone listening in on Discord. Thank you to everybody listening to the replay on Gunzal Talk. And thank you just everybody who tuned in at some point during this Q&A. So thank you for listening to this Gunzal's Q&A. Enjoy your weekend, and I will see you whenever next. Bye for now, and thank you for listening to the Q&A. Thank you for listening to this Gunzals Talk podcast. If you enjoyed this podcast, please make sure to subscribe to this channel so you never miss another podcast, turn on notifications, like this video, and also check out my link tree in the description to check out my other social media. Thank you for watching and listening, and bye for now. I will see you in the next podcast.